So the Washington Wizards have a little bit of a scoring dilemma on their hands. And when I say scoring dilemma, I got to point out, I don't know if you guys missed it last night or you were living under a rock somewhere, but the Wizards' Bradley Beal came out and dropped 60 on the 76ers during a loss. And almost immediately after the game, the rumor mill started heating up, and all that trade speculation started swirling again. Okay, so last night, Wednesday night, the Wizards couldn't rally for a victory over the Philadelphia 76ers, and it was a high-scoring performance for Beal, right? So the veteran wing, he was pretty much virtually unstoppable during Washington's 141 to 136 loss, but he wasn't able to rally his team from down 21 points. He had a fantastic game. He dropped 60, but he only put up 3 points in the third quarter. They couldn't get the job done, but they made it really interesting, right? They made it close. So, despite matching up against this one-loss Sixers squad, who, in my opinion, is absolutely fantastic at this point, Beal managed to dominate the game in terms of a scoring perspective, right? So, in total, he finished with 60 points. And that's a mark that the Star has never before reached until now. And Beal, after the game, was speaking with the Associated Press. And he also was talking about how he passed Gilbert Arenas' franchise scoring mark. And what Beal said was quite interesting. He said, I put myself out there to close it out. You know, I put it on myself to close it out. He said, I've got to be better. All my career highs have been in losses. I don't give a damn. That just goes a long way to show you right now where Bradley Beal's mindset is at. This guy wants to win, and he wants to win in Washington, right? So now his value seems to be at an all-time high, right? And you got to ask yourself the question, should the slumping Washington Wizards seriously consider trading Bradley Beal? Although there's more than likely going to be an eventual separation between the Wizards and Beal, you know, that's a narrative that's going to continue to manifest itself among fans and media pundits alike. You know, this is a 27-year-old wing player, a franchise favorite entering his prime. This is a guy that can score off the dribble. This is a guy that can catch and shoot it. He's one of the brightest young stars in the game, right? And so to this point, Washington has refused to take trade calls for its franchise player, and they're going to continue doing so for now. It's unlikely that the Wizards want to trade Beal. I'm not going to blow smoke up your bum and tell you anything different, right? Because they have him under contract for the remainder of the season at a cost of just over $34.5 million. So that's a figure that's going to make it very difficult for a single team to orchestrate a trade, right? Because the NBA has a really tight salary cap restrictions when moving players. Now, Beal's also having a career best year, right, in terms of scoring and conversion from the field, which really is going to promote intrigue in Washington and promote ticket sales down the line, and it's also going to make the management upstairs go, just how high can Bradley Beal's star be, right? They want to see how far his on-court ceiling can go. They made a move for Russell Westbrook. They want to see how that pans out. So, despite the fact that a multitude of contending teams would be willing to depart with a haul of draft picks or a handful of young promising players to acquire a player of his caliber, whether it be after this season or next, Beal has the power to opt out of his current contract and test the free agent market, right? So he is now in in the midst of a 2-year deal, and he's got a player option after the first year that he can activate, or he can opt out, test the market. Secondly, any trade involving him would activate a 15% trade kicker on the deal, thus creating an increased salary cap hit for a team in the immediate future. It's going to make him harder to move, right? So Wizards head coach, after that loss last night, was talking to the Associated Press, and he said that Beal can score a lot of points on any team on any given night, but he wants to lead us in victories. So that tells you, from the guy on the court who most often interacts with Beal, he knows what's going on inside his star player's head, right? And so the uncertainty surrounding Beal's future, yeah, it's enough to spark debate, but without the incentive of Beal signing a long-term extension, it's really unlikely that any team's going to want to pay the ransom required to obtain the Wizards star. Brooks is right. You know, Beal's capable of landing somewhere else, and wherever he goes, he's going to put up big scoring numbers, but it's most important to Beal to have that success in Washington, right? And the franchise shares that feeling. It's mutual, and it's one of the main reasons why the front office rewarded him with an extension, putting him among the game's highest paid players. And it's also a deal that's going to make him extremely difficult to trade. That investment shows Beal the gratitude for what he's already done and what he can become eventually. But the best part about it is the deal puts Beal really in the driver's seat while he figures out if he wants Russell Westbrook riding in his sidecar. So the question you got to ask yourself is, if you're Bradley Beal, where else would you rather be at this point? And you also got to ask yourself, would any team gamble on Bradley Beal as a rental this season? I'm not so sure. Make sure you go over to thelogo.online. Make sure you join our NBA conversation. Join our community. Let us know what you think, where we debate and we discuss all those things. And it's also your destination for NBA news coverage.